Hello friends, Andrew here at SHOT 2022 with Andrew from Surefire. What do you got for us? What do we want to talk about today?
Yeah, man, we got a whole bunch of new stuff that we're showing here at the show. First off, we'll start with kind of what's been the new hotness. We have our Turbo Series flashlights. So there's been a trend recently in the market for high candela lights that have a narrow, further reaching beam pattern. So we have a whole fleet of Turbo Series lights that we're introducing here at the show. Taking a quick step back, just for people that might not know exactly what I'm talking about. With light, there's kind of two measurements. There's lumens, which is like, in layman's terms, it's the brightness. And then there's candela, which is a measurement of the distance. So for instance, you can have two flashlights that are 500 lumens, but their beam patterns might be drastically different, so they don't give you the same distance. Candela is how you measure
So you measure
the
lumens at the emitter, you measure lumens at a specified distance.
Yeah, more or less. Lumens are actually done in a sphere.
I said that wrong. You measure lumens at the emitter, you measure candela at the specified distance.
Correct, yeah, more or less. It's peak beam intensity for candela, and it gives you a better idea of how far a light's gonna reach for you. So, for instance, these new, like that light in your hand, that's our Scout Light Pro dual fuel Turbo Series. It's a mouthful. That has 71,000 candela. It reaches out quite far. Like I said, there's been a lot of demand for that in the market, and so it's pretty sweet. So the tail cap, tighten it. There we go.
So we got a really tight spot in
Correct.
the middle. I can't really do that for the camera too. Well, I probably can. There we go.
So it's not a replacement for our standard beam patterns. Like we still have our standard X300s, our standard Scout lights, which is a pretty good combination beam pattern. It has a good hot spot and a good peripheral spill. That said, this is just another tool in the toolbox for people that want something that can punch out a little bit further. On the law enforcement side, they've had good success with this burning through heavily tinted windows, giving you a little additional control, putting more concentrated light in a specific spot. So we have the full-size Scout Light version of that. We have our mini Scout version of that. That's an 18650 as you just saw. This is an 18350. They can both take 123s as well.
Okay.
We have handheld variants of those.
And hence the name dual fuel is that you can do the rechargeable and the lithium.
Exactly. Yeah, so I mean, it just, if you have in the field 123s available and you don't want, you're not able to charge the light immediately, then you can just swap out the batteries and keep going, which is nice. We have handheld variants. These are our everyday carry lights. Again, dual fuel. That's an 18350. We also have an 18650 variant, and again, they can take 123s as well. You do sacrifice some output and some runtime when you run the 123s. We also have handgun weapon-mounted lights in the Turbo Series. So this is our X300. That's our X300 is our most popular handgun weapon light. This is the Turbo Series variant, so it gives you much more candela. That's about 50,000 candela, so you have much further reach. Operation's just the same. Matter of fact, the footprint, the overall dimensions of it are just the same as our standard X300s, so that holster compatibility wasn't affected because there's a whole, a lot of standard holsters out there.
Like once you come out with, once you start selling a light that gains some traction in the marketplace, there's some inertia there, and like now you're almost forced to stay in that same form factor, because who wants to buy the new light if I also have to buy new holsters and all that?
Yeah, especially once you get to departments and agencies where there's hundreds or thousands of a certain kit setup, it makes it a lot harder to adopt some new piece of kit if it has an onslaught of changes that come with it. So footprint's the same on those.
It's one thing to sell a package of 500 with a unit price of X, but then it's the unit price of that, and then also every single one of them has to have a new Safariland or whatever.
Exactly. So super excited for these. We also have the light laser variant Turbo Series. It's our X400 Turbo Series. Same output as far as candela goes, 50,000. And again, it's the same footprint as the previous X400. So if you're not familiar with the X400 switching, and actually I can just tell by the feeling that there's no batteries in it.
That's why I thought.
But there's a selector switch. If you got that staccato, there's an X400 on it that should work.
I'm clearing an inert gun, but
it's fine. So for our handgun weapon lights, just to make everyone a little more comfortable, there we go. For our handgun weapon lights, there's an ambidextrous toggle on both sides, so you can push forward for momentary, or you can rock it up or down for constant on. And then for the X400 specifically, there's a little rocker switch right here, and then you can select between light and laser, laser only, or light only, and then the furthest position is off. So if you want to transport
lock out.
Yeah. Yep. Also, that gun, pretty neat, has our, just while we're on the topic of it, Rider 9 Tie modular. So that's a modular suppressor, meaning that you can remove the front if you want to shorten the overall length of it. And that's good for, you can run it on a handgun like that, but especially like pistol caliber carbines where you have a longer barrel, it's already a quieter gun, you can get away with a shorter suppressor.
This is the part where we had the SpongeBob several minutes later.
Exactly. So at this point in time, it comes with a tool, and you would just remove this front cap and put the front cap on there. But yeah, it's really cool, the short look of it.
It's real light. It's real thin.
Yep.
The diameter, this is quite a bit thinner than most pistol silencers.
Yeah, you can borderline use it with stock height sights. Suppressor height sights are still ideal, but it's super, super narrow. Titanium tube, front cap, back cap, so it keeps the weight down. Baffle stack still heat-treated stainless for durability. So
it's got a few rounds on that.
Yep.
On that glass there.
Yep. Yeah, that thing's been shot.
Some carbon on it.
Next up in the new products, I'll probably go XR1 and XR2. So these are meant to be like a middle ground concealed carry light. So dimensionally, it's not wider than a Glock 19 rail. It's not longer than a Glock 19. So it's very concealable, but still has a good amount of output and performance. So it's 900 lumens. We switched these to a different emitter and different reflectors recently. We had been developing this light for quite some time, and it's finally in its final iteration. And the performance for the size is super impressive. It's a removable, rechargeable battery cartridge. So if you're training, you can swap out that battery and keep training.
I saw these at BDU.
Yeah.
That's pretty slick.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm not a big fan of proprietary,
Yep.
but it comes with some advantages,
Exactly.
It allows this to be quite a bit more compact, because if you want to stick to something standard, that pretty much means a CR123, right?
You nailed it.
And
exactly right. And that's why it's that way.
Makes the whole light body is a lot larger. That's a profound difference.
Yes, exactly. And it matters even more, like that 43 on your far right.
Yeah.
So that's our XSC. Micro compact lights have become more and more popular. Micro compact guns, I should say, like the P365, the Springfield Hellcat, the Glock 43 and 48 MOS. So we have our XSC lineup of pistol lights. Unfortunately, each of those guns that I just named has a proprietary rail, so we have to have a light per gun.
Of course.
So that specific light is for that rail, for the Glock rail. We have one for the P365 rail and one for the Hellcat rail. And actually at this show, we're introducing that model right here, which is the XSCB. And this is for subcompact guns, basically a standard universal rail width that's a little bit shorter. So this is an M&P subcompact, just another option available for concealed carry. A lot of people, this is somewhat of a, I wouldn't say debated topic, but a lot of people don't understand the application for concealed carry weapon light. It's just like a normal weapon light, meaning you need to be able to positively identify whatever you might be shooting at. Obviously, a handheld light is a doable solution for that, but it's always better to have two hands on the gun for accuracy, recoil control, manipulating with your environment, all those good reasons.
The one thing that the weapon light can do that's very difficult to do with a handheld light is to perform other tasks, to be on the phone with 911 or open doors or drag a friend behind you or whatever you have to do with the other hand. You can do that with a weapon-mounted light, and you're going to have a hard time managing other tasks with a light in the hand.
Exactly. And it's not a replacement for a handheld. This came up recently. I heard someone say,
I don't want to point a loaded gun at...
Exactly. Well, I'm not going to pick up my keys with my gun. Like, no. This is an addition to. You should still have a handheld light for administrative tasks. But
and only that also comes from people who don't understand how you use a weapon light. They think that you point the weapon light at everything that you want to see. And lights like this have plenty of splash if it was dark in here, and I'm shining it there, we can see everything in the room.
Yep. Yep. 100%. Yeah. There's techniques to use light, splash light, whether you're bouncing off the ceiling, the ground. You don't need to flag everything you're looking at. And yeah, again, we're just all about having more options. Weapon lights are definitely becoming more prolific and widely used from not just military law enforcement, but everybody. And so,
we're starting to see a big selection of holsters that accommodate weapon lights.
Absolutely. So, yeah, man, I think that's about it for the brand new products for the show.
Well, Andrew, thank you for having me and putting up with me. I hereby award you most dapper mustache of the show.
Thank you very much, Andrew. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys for watching. I love you.